The storm had rolled in from the western hills by the time the chapel bells ceased their morning toll. Within the candlelit halls of Castillo de Avellan, silence hung heavy, thick as the scent of rain-soaked stone and wax. Lady Isabella de Aranzazu stood before the great hearth, her fingers trembling as she tightened the sash of her gown. The fire cast her shadow long across the walls, slender, lonely, and wavering. Behind her, Commander Rafael de Monteverde knelt, his sword laid before him, the oath of chastity between them like a chain neither could see but both could feel tightening by the hour. "You understand," she whispered, voice catching like the flame in the draught, "we must not share a bed, nor speak of what was before the vow." Raphael lifted his eyes, dark as the storm beyond the stained glass. "Yes, my lady. By your brother's decree, I am your guardian, not your suitor." The words carved his throat raw. He bowed his head lower, fists tightening on his knees. "I swore before God to protect you, not to love you." A flash of lightning bled through the window, illuminating her face, the tremor in her lips. She turned away before he could see the tear she brushed away too quickly. The oath had been demanded by her brother, Duke Esteban, who had returned from the royal court to find his sister's heart perilously close to scandal. Love between a noblewoman and a knight sworn to her family was treason to blood and title alike. And so the vow had been made: no touch, no tenderness, no bed shared beneath the same roof. Only duty. Only silence. That night, thunder cracked like breaking glass above the turrets. The wind screamed against the shutters, rattling the old manor's bones. Isabella sat by her window, unable to sleep, her thoughts circling the memory of Raphael's eyes, how they softened only when he looked at her. She closed her eyes, trying to smother the ache. But then she heard it, his footsteps in the corridor, slow and deliberate, pacing like a man fighting a war within. She rose, barefoot, moving to the door. When she opened it, she found him there, soaked from the rain, his cloak dripping, eyes burning with restrained urgency. "My lady," he breathed, "the northern wall was breached by the wind. I came to warn you," but the words faltered as he saw her, hair loose, gown pale against the dark, the scent of lavender clinging to her like a sin remembered. For a moment, neither moved. The world outside howled, but within the narrow hall, the air went still, thick with what they'd sworn to forget. "Raphael," she said softly, stepping closer, "you needn't stand guard tonight. You'll fall ill." "I'll stand as long as I must," he murmured, voice hoarse. "Your safety is my oath." "And your heart?" she whispered. He froze. The candle flickered. And for one dangerous heartbeat, they stood close enough to feel the warmth of the other's breath. Then, with a shuddering exhale, he turned away. "My heart," he said, "is no longer mine to give." She watched him disappear down the corridor, the echo of his boots fading like a heartbeat slowing in the dark. But long after the sound was gone, she still felt his nearness, his unspoken words brushing against her soul like the ghost of a kiss. Days turned to weeks. The castle endured its long winter, snow upon the battlements, frost upon the roses in the courtyard. And though the world outside froze, something inside Isabella burned brighter each night. She saw him everywhere, training the squires, patrolling the walls, speaking with her brother in the council room. Always distant, always proper. Always pretending not to notice her. Until the night the nightmares began. It started with a dream, flames consuming the chapel, her family name torn apart by whispers of betrayal. She woke screaming, her voice echoing through the empty corridors, her hands trembling in the cold. The maids rushed in, but it was Raphael who reached her first. He burst through her chamber doors, sword drawn, cloak half undone. "My lady, what is it? Are you hurt?" She looked at him, her breath shallow, tears streaking her cheeks. It was nothing, a dream, just a dream. But her voice broke, and in that break, all pretense shattered. He crossed the room before she could protest, kneeling beside her bed, his rough soldier's hands hovering inches from her trembling ones. "You're shaking," he whispered. "It will pass," she said. He hesitated. "May I?" Before he could finish, she reached for him first, her fingers curling into his. The contact was a spark, terrible and tender all at once. And once begun, neither could stop. She leaned forward, forehead to his chest, sobbing against the leather of his tunic. "I cannot bear it, Raphael. This silence, this distance, when you are all I have left that feels alive." He closed his eyes. His jaw clenched. He could smell her hair, feel her heart beating fast against his arm. "This is wrong," he said, voice trembling. "If your brother knew." "My brother is not God," she breathed. Her words struck him like a prayer blasphemed, holy in its defiance. And when she looked up, their eyes locked, dark meeting light, and something inside him broke free of the chain of his oath. He pulled her into his arms. Not as a knight swore to his lady, but as a man starved of what he denied too long. The storm returned that night. Rain thrumming against the windows, wind wailing through the rafters. He held her through her nightmares, her tears dampening his tunic. When she shivered, he whispered her name until her breathing steadied. But when dawn began to pale the horizon, he was still there. Arms wrapped around her, his vow forgotten somewhere between heartbeat and dream. She stirred first, realization dawning slow and heavy. "You stayed." "I did," he said softly, not moving. "You broke your promise." He met her gaze. "So did you." A silence followed, fragile, golden. Then, quietly, "I would break it again," she whispered. "So would I," he said. But morning light has a cruel way of reminding lovers of the world beyond their hearts. By noon, word had reached the Duke, his sister's chamber door found unbarred, her knight missing from the barracks. By dusk, Raphael stood before him in chains. The great hall of Avellan was colder than any winter. Isabella stood before her brother, hands clasped, face pale as ivory. Raphael knelt in chains beside her, head bowed but unbroken. The Duke's eyes burned with fury. "You have dishonored our name, Isabella. You my blood. And you," he spat the word at Raphael, "were sworn to protect her, not defile her bed." Raphael raised his head, meeting the Duke's glare. "I swore to protect her life. Her happiness is part of that life." Esteban's hand struck him across the face. The sound echoed off the stone walls. "Your tongue condemns you, knight. You will be stripped of rank and exiled beyond the kingdom by sunrise." Isabella stepped forward, voice shaking but fierce. "If he goes, I go too." Her brother turned on her, disbelief curdling to rage. "You would abandon your title, your home, for this man?" She met his fury with calm fire. "I would abandon everything for the one who held me when my soul was breaking." Raphael looked up sharply, pain and awe warring in his eyes. "My lady, don't." But she cut him off. "You said once your heart was no longer yours to give. Then take mine, Raphael. It's already yours." The Duke's guards advanced, but Raphael rose before they could touch her. "Enough," he said, voice like steel drawn from flame. "Do what you will with me. But she bears no guilt. I broke the vow first." Esteban's nostrils flared. "Then you'll pay its price." That night, the castle's torches burned low. The sentence was exile, not death, but in the borderlands, exile often meant the same thing. Raphael was led to the stables, wrists bound, the dawn still hours away. But when the guard turned to fetch water, he found the ropes cut, and the horse gone. Isabella had come for him. She rode with him through the forest paths, cloak billowing, hair streaming in the cold wind. Neither spoke until the castle walls vanished behind the trees. Then she looked back once, eyes glistening. "Do you regret it?" He shook his head. "Not for a single heartbeat." She smiled, a fragile, defiant smile. "Then wherever you go, I go too." He reached for her hand as they rode side by side into the misted dawn. "If the world calls this sin," he said, "then let it damn us together." And so they vanished, into the mountains, into legend. Some say they built a small home by the sea, where no one knew their names. Others say they were caught by royal soldiers months later, their love ending in blood. But every winter when storms gather over the hills of Avellan, the villagers swear they see two riders in the mist, one in silver, one in white, racing the wind, side by side. They say love sworn beneath oath can never truly die. It only waits for the night when dreams are strong enough to break every promise.